Welcome back, everybody, to the official SNORCKL Podcast, episode 4. Obviously, a few days ago, we released episode 3 that was talking about what we think is going to happen, basically a preview and predictions and things like that of Comic-Con 2018. And Comic-Con 2018 is now officially over in terms of all the panels and the trailers being released and all that sort of thing. So, Johnny, what do you think we should start off with? What was the big thing at this year's Comic-Con?
Hello everyone, it's Johnny back again. If you haven't seen it already, go check out all the reaction videos we posted for all the big trailers that came out, which we're going to be talking about here in depth. But I would say, if we're talking about the biggest thing that has come out, I mean, it's got to be the Aquaman trailer.
Aquaman, I agree.
That's the most talked about, it's getting the most views on YouTube, has the most retweets, all that kind of stuff. It created a, dare I say, splash yesterday.
Overall, I guess. How do you think this year's Comic-Con was? I was like,
this probably this got to be the best one. Which is odd because I think a lot of people were concerned because Marvel wasn't going to be there this year.
Yeah.
They usually would have gone last night. Maybe we would have gotten a Captain Marvel trailer or like stuff like that. But nope, it was all on kind of Sony and Warner Brothers and the other studios to pick up the slack, and I think they did a pretty good job. I was impressed with everything that was released, essentially.
The only thing I was a little disappointed about was Venom trailer not being released, because they had for all the people in attendance, they had a trailer or
right. And Venom, it got the teaser trailer a long time ago, and then it had that first official big trailer, which got a ton of buzz on social media. We actually got to see his design really well.
Yeah.
And then they showed a third trailer in the hall, and we have not gotten to see it. And it's very, I don't know if this is a smart idea on Sony's part. It doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't have released it because it was a Friday night. Like, do it. Like, people are gonna watch it.
They could have basically opened Comic-Con.
Yeah, but I also see the logic. Supposedly, this movie's coming out in 3 months now, so this last trailer has to be out relatively soon. Supposedly, it might be coming in the next week or two. And the only benefit I see from that is that they get all the attention on it then. Like, there's no other competing trailers. The big ones are already out, so I could see that working, but I think it also would have been kind of nice to have it out to be seen in theaters with, like, Mission Impossible and, like, some other of the movies that are coming out.
Definitely with E3 and Comic-Con and any big convention where they release new material, whether it be for games or TV or movies, I see the point of keeping it private for the people in attendance because it just makes it more special for them. And really, if they hold out another week or so and they release this trailer or the footage, then the spotlight will be back on them. So I kind of understand, if you really just wait a week after showing it, I guess that's... But still, it's a little disappointing.
I see both sides of it, in other words.
For sure.
Hopefully the trailer, when it does finally come out, looks really cool. All the stuff, the descriptions we heard sounded really cool. Another symbiote fighting Venom. It sounds like Venom is... I still don't know if it's going to be rated R. I had a poll on my Twitter the other night saying, do you guys think this is going to be rated R? And overwhelmingly, like 80% of the people said they did think it was. Which was surprising to me because I think it's tough. I feel like they probably filmed it to be R, most likely. But then in the edit, they're going to be like, well, should we really go R? Should we try and make more money off this thing? I think going full R would be badass. I think it fits the character. But again, it kind of see both sides of it. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
I agree. It could go either way, and I think Deadpool specifically has kind of shown that you can have a rated movie and have it be successful.
Especially with Venom, it is a huge character. A lot of people know this character as Spider-Man fans, and Tom Hardy is a big name actor as well. So I think they could get good money. I'm not sure. The budget probably wasn't that insane, so I don't think it'd be that big of a deal.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on here to Aquaman. I know we could already mentioned it before, but obviously... they had a big panel that all the people there, Jason was there, and just the whole cast basically. And obviously they released a trailer, and me and Johnny were blown away by this trailer. I mean, to be underwater and have all the technical aspects, and for James Wan to actually bring a vision like that to light is pretty incredible. Yeah,
I think it took a lot of people. People had been waiting for this a long time. I mean, this is one of the most anticipated movies of the year, low key. I think the general public, though, has been, they got to see Aquaman in Justice League, even though Justice League itself was not a success and people didn't receive it all that well. But I think people came away like, okay, Jason Momoa, we love him. Aquaman seems pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. But here, he is center stage. And not just him as a character, but his world. Atlantis, all this underwater stuff, Orm, Manta, Mera, they're going all out, and I am just as a fan that has, you know, been championing these characters and like this world for so long, like the fact that so many people are going to be exposed to it, it's the same thing that Marvel has done with a lot of their smaller characters, you know, whether it be Doctor Strange or even Black Panther or the Guardians. Like, those have been pretty significant in the comics for a while, but the general public are like, who? Yeah, but then now they have these big movies out, and people are like, wow, these guys are really cool. Like, I like their, you know, what they're doing inside the MCU. And this is, I think, just kind of like the counter to that.
So obviously in the trailer, for anybody that hasn't been reading up on the storyline, Aquaman and his brother are kind of like going at it. Aquaman,
his brother's Orm, played by Patrick Wilson,
and he's basically saying that Aquaman is from land, right, or is like half human. So who is he to say?
Right, and the drama with that is, for like I said, if you're not familiar, is basically Orm. And Patrick Wilson, to me in the trailer, completely nailed it. Like, we didn't see a lot of him.
I didn't even know that was Patrick Wilson.
Right,
like, it doesn't even look like
his hair is like bleach blonde almost.
I think
he was wearing a wig.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just has like this commanding like voice and his presence. I really liked all the dialogue they used. He's like, my brothers come from the surface to try to take the throne or whatever. And all of Atlantis is on his side, obviously, because they're against the surface dwellers and that kind of thing. And so I love Orm as a character. I love Patrick Wilson. And I definitely think it's going to be a cool thing because, you know, Orm has been living in Atlantis his entire life. That's why he's on the throne. And Arthur has not been connected with that side of like his life, essentially. But he was born first, so that's why he is the rightful heir. But they have to fight, and then there's going to be a whole bunch of other shit that happens, obviously. And then I just thought that it was really cool how the gladiator fight, it was essentially what it is, between him and Arthur, looks nuts. Like, there's lava everywhere. They both have tridents. It looks... I cannot wait for that scene.
Now, do you think that they'll head in the Thor-Loki direction, where this is, like, you're going to hate Orm the whole time, and at the end they're going to kind of, like...
Well, no, I totally disagree. Because, first off, Orm, what makes him such a great antagonist, he's not even really a villain, is that you understand his side of it. Like, you sympathize with him, because we all know that humans are fucking up the planet and polluting the ocean and messing things up. So for someone that lives in the ocean and has an entire civilization that could be affected by what humans are doing, it makes perfect sense. So you see his logic, but then you're also like, well, you probably shouldn't murder everyone. But, so that, I think that is going to be more of a... I hope that they really nail that aspect of it, I guess.
You know, it would be reminisce, if that's the word.
That's not the word. It's remiss.
Remiss. If we did... if we didn't mention Black Manta in this, looks really cool. We only saw him for really 4 or 5 seconds at most.
Right. Well, I like that too.
But he looked like the comic book version. Like, they didn't cut any corners. They made him look almost identical to the cartoons in the comics.
Yeah, I agree. It was in a whole lot. It was just like kind of a peak, but he looks stunning. Like, he looks one of the coolest, like most badass like villains we've seen in any comic book movie. His design is just spot on. And we got to see a little bit of his laser action going on. That was really cool. Also, I want to say the thing that probably took me the most by surprise, I kind of anticipated the Manta stuff and Orm and Atlantis looking amazing. But the 2 quick shots we got with the trench, it looks utterly insane from a visual standpoint. James Wan, and I also think it's going to be really cool because I think that scene is going to be where James Wan kind of utilizes his horror background. Because these are monsters, it's nighttime, you know. Right. And I think it's going to be really cool. And just seeing them jump off that boat with the flare into the water, and then you see that big wide shot where it's all underwater and then the little ship above it, and it's just the colors, and it looks... I cannot wait to see that. I'm really excited for that.
So moving on to Shazam, which was the next... actually, no, it came out before Aquaman, but Aquaman kind of stole the show. But I think Shazam actually was the surprise hit of the whole Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think it was also part of what played into the surprise was that we weren't sure. We talked about this during the preview podcast. We were like, is it going to have a trailer or is it not? You said it wasn't. They weren't going to have a trailer.
Oh, yeah. All the little reports we saw beforehand was like, oh, it's going to be Aquaman and Godzilla and this and that.
I wasn't sold either, but I had a feeling. I mean, this is their only Comic-Con before the movie comes out, and I think they totally took their opportunity and nailed it. So,
I was very happy with the footage that they showed. They actually had a very long, I guess it was
about 3 minutes.
It was like three plus.
It was a full trailer, honestly.
So I was actually really happy. I was not 100% sold on the casting at first. But now that we've seen footage of
No, you're talking about Zachary Levi.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
Shazam.
And now I think he'll be fine. I mean,
You think he'll be fine? He looks great.
No, I think it'll be okay. I don't want to give it too much praise right away, but it looked really funny. And it's not just like Spider-Man, like he's learning his powers and he's still a teenager. Like Shazam, once he transforms,
Right.
it says Shazam, like he turns into like this full-grown, like ripped up superhero.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like
He's
a
not a little
god.
kid anymore.
Right. And I really loved how... What did you think of Billy Batson and Freddy, like the actors playing them and those characters? Because to me, I thought what was really cool about this was it was 3 minutes long, like you said, but in the first minute or so, it's all focused on them as kids. Like
Right.
they're foster kids. They're like getting bullied in school and stuff. And I was already like, before any of the superhero things popped up with the wizard and all that, I was totally invested in like digging the characters. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know what you thought about that, but
I mean, again, I think I'm definitely gonna like the Shazam parts better to me. I don't know how much. It might be an hour or whatever until we even see Shazam. You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's definitely not going to be the case.
I don't know how long it's going to be. It could be 15 minutes. It could be an hour. Like,
It's probably going to be like 20 or 25 minutes.
I think the quicker they get to that part, the better, because that's going to be the centerpiece, and that's going to be the part where it really takes off.
Also, I think another interesting thing was, even though this was a long trailer, like for Comic-Con, I don't think we really saw anything, even like not just the third act, but like the whole second half of the movie. Like it seemed very like preliminary. Like he has his powers, he's still trying to figure it out. He's just hanging out with Freddy, not doing anything too serious. We got a little peek at the villain, but not a whole lot. And we didn't even get to see him like Shazam acting serious or like being threatened and like trying to fight back. And like he's just messing around, like he's being a kid.
Yeah.
And we didn't really get to see any of the other like foster kids as well, the Shazam kids. So I'm glad that they held back, even though we still got to see a lot. That was really cool. And especially, probably my favorite parts of this was the test footage bits, where they were testing his strength and if he could fly. Those were really funny to me, and I liked how they like handled that.
Very much similar to Spider-Man in the fact that they showed Billy, and he has all of this Justice League memorabilia and all that type of stuff.
Well, Freddy
had it.
Yeah.
And I think they're both like fans of that whole thing.
Yeah, Freddy's he's a fanboy, so to speak.
And the fact that they're going to kind of turn one of them into a god superhero.
Yeah.
That's kind of very similar to Spider-Man, where he's like, oh, I like Captain America and I like Iron Man, and now I have powers too. So I think this is a good direction to go.
Right. And I think that pretty much wraps that up for Shazam. But before we move away from all the DC stuff, let's just hit real quick on, they showed Wonder Woman stuff.
No footage for us anyways.
No. Wonder Woman 1984, Patty showed up, Chris Pine, Gal Gadot, and they showed, the description talked about it, it's set in the 80s, obviously. Very, like, colorful. Her suit is apparently even brighter. And she basically saves a little girl in, like, a shopping mall and, like, takes out some robbers. And then you got a quick shot, which the stuff has been leaked online, or the set photos and videos of her running really fast down a street in, like, Washington, D.C., and that was pretty much the extent of it. So it sounded like it was pretty neat. Didn't sound like it was anything mind-blowing. They've only been filming for like a month, so.
That'll be the star of next year's Comic-Con.
Easily. For sure. Yeah, no question. No question.
Next we can move on to Godzilla, which was another one that really grabbed my attention. We kind of talked about it in the last podcast. If you want to go back and listen to that, our thoughts on the original Godzilla, it was kind of just like a meh movie.
I liked it.
We liked it a little bit, but it wasn't like groundbreaking by any means. This looks like it's going to be phenomenal.
Okay, I'm going to go out and say it. This blew me away, for one thing, but it was the best trailer of Comic-Con. To me, it was.
I know it was only 2 minutes long or whatever it was, but the music and the score that they used for the trailer was really, really cool. And as on our reaction video, someone pointed out in the comments, it was Debussy's Claire de Lune, and I've heard this before in other movies and stuff. It's like pretty famous, but the way it was used here, and like, oh my god, it was just like the immense scale of these monsters, and they looked like badass, but they also looked like majestic and beautiful, and all the colors that they use, like blue and orange. I hope people aren't thinking this is going to be like they just kind of made the monsters seem like, majestic is a good word, or like harmless in a way. Well, yeah, that was another thing I was going to say was, before, when we were talking in the preview, I was like, I can't wait to see these monsters like beat the shit out of each other, like it's going to be amazing. But now after, I'm just kind of like,
can they just be like buddies and like hang out? I don't want to see any of them like get hurt or like killed or anything. But
the story too, 11 Millie is in
Millie
there.
Bobby Brown.
I don't know how much she's going to be involved, but I'm glad.
She seems like the main character. I mean, she was the first character we saw. I think her mom might be Vera Farmiga's character.
Maybe. Yeah.
Kyle Chandler's also in there. I'm not sure if that's going to be her dad or like what's going on there, but the cast seems really great.
Do you think that? I mean, she's still very, very young. Do you think she could head off to be a big movie star in the next couple of years? Do you think this?
I mean, yeah,
more
for
bit
sure.
parts.
I mean, she's already leading a Godzilla movie, so I would imagine she's going to be up there. And Stranger Things is still plopping along. The season 3, they have that coming on the way too. So
once that ends, I don't know how long that show is going to continue. I hope it doesn't continue too long because I wasn't a big fan of the second season.
The second season was great. I thought it was just as great as the first one, but I do not want them to drag it out.
Of course, I don't want this to be a 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 season show.
I'm thinking like 3 or 4 maybe.
But once that's over, I don't know. I think she might. I don't know how much money she's making, but she could probably just go off.
Bank, dude.
She could probably just go off and live her life after that.
She definitely could, but she seems like, I mean, she's a good actor. Like, especially for her age, I think it will be interesting to see like how she progresses, and I'm sure this will be. I mean, this is her first big movie, so that's going to be an interesting like milestone to see. Can she handle like that kind of like lead role? And another thing I liked about this trailer, though, I want to mention real quick. Well, first off, I did not expect the post-apocalyptic like plot. Like I thought it was still going to be like the first Godzilla, where civilization's perfectly fine. But here it seems like it's on the ropes.
That's the one thing I didn't like about this trailer. There was so much like, obviously it's a trailer, so there's going to be some like exposition or whatever. But oh man, they were just like, oh, we've destroyed the planet and the Earth has kept these monsters hidden for forever, and it's like, what? I didn't like that part of it at all. But what do you think about that?
I mean, I didn't have an issue with it. I mean, it's a continuation of like what they've done in Godzilla and Kong, so it didn't really like surprise me, I guess.
I guess you have to do that in a way, because if you have this world, the MonsterVerse, as they've called it, with these huge monsters, it's like either these monsters had to have been hidden some way, or they would have just basically been a part of everyday life in the world, and it wouldn't be weird at all that they were... You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, they have to be like... Yeah, I see what you're saying. And then, one last thing I will say. This trailer, it was a full trailer, basically, but it felt like a teaser in the way that they didn't really show... And we got looks at all the monsters, and they did a really good job. Lots of amazing VFX and all that stuff, but we didn't actually see, like, hardly any... like monster on monster like action. Like there was no like huge like battles or anything. I thought that was a really good, like having some restraint, not like going full over the top.
I think that'll be the next trailer, I would imagine.
I'm sure there's going to be some,
because it's kind of far off in the distance. It's not a year away.
It comes out in May,
so it's a ways away still. But the next trailer that we want to talk about is Glass, and we were pretty pumped for that one. I mean, it's a continuation. It's the third movie in a trilogy. I don't know if it'll be a trilogy or more than that. I guess we don't know.
Yeah, no, it did look for sure better than I expected it to. And I didn't expect, one part of the trailer that took me by surprise, maybe the most, was the part where Glass kind of proposes that he and the Beast basically team up to take down David Dunn, I would assume.
Yeah, and Dunn's like, oh, no, don't do that.
Yeah, and I did not expect that. So and they didn't, we get to see a little hint of the Beast and David Dunn fighting, which is what I was saying in the preview episode. Like, I really want to see that. I think it's going to be badass. They're both, he's indestructible essentially, and the Beast is insanely strong.
Right.
So that's going to be really cool. The Beast is just, I mean, we saw a hint of him in Split, obviously. But here he's out kicking ass, he's running and jumping, and it looks nuts. Like I'm very, very keen on what we saw out of that. Visually, it looks really cool.
I do like that it's not overly stylized, because most of the trailers, looking down the list, have a lot of like CGI and stuff like that.
Right.
I guess M. Night's style is in this one too, but it's more based in like reality.
And I mean, it's also a mid-budget film. Like they're not spending hundreds of millions to make it and market it and all that stuff. So I definitely agree with that. But yeah, I think the cinematography looked really good, the color palette and all that stuff. It made it look good without having to throw in a bunch of like special, nonsense.
I guess the next one that we can talk about is probably the most polarizing. That would be Fantastic Beasts 2.
Right.
And the reason it's polarizing is because me and Johnny both love the Wizarding World, and we love going to the theme parks and Universal, and we love Harry Potter. But we get into these endless sequels, and I think I love the MCU, but I get fatigued with that sometimes too, and I also get fatigued with the Star Wars side stories, and this is just, I think, a casualty of that. If we weren't in the world with constant sequels, I feel like these would be considered a lot better than they are.
Probably. I just also feel like the first one was good. I liked it, but it wasn't, to me, it didn't wow me. I wasn't like, wow. You know, like literally, it was cool to see the United States, and it's set like in the 30s or whatever. But yeah, it didn't blow me away. I will say though, I did, when we were talking in the preview, I was like, I'm not sold on this at all, and this trailer needs to definitely be better than the first one for me to be feeling better about it.
Right.
And I did think this trailer was definitely better than the first one. I don't know how you felt, but
yeah, I mean, I think it showed a little bit more, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I just can't get excited about it for some reason. I just can't.
It showed some really cool new creatures. The designs look really neat. The VFX were really good. But yeah, I still, the thing for me, I'm still not sold on is, and maybe it'll get explained in the movie, obviously. I'm sure there's some sort of reasoning behind it. But Dumbledore asking Newt to take on Grindelwald. Like, the logic there is baffling to me.
I see where you're coming from, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt until I see that there's something holding him back from being able to do it.
I mean, there's got to be a reason.
If it's just, I just can't bring myself to do it. That's unacceptable.
Absurd. Yeah,
that would be unacceptable.
That'll just. Not only would that be dumb, like in the context of these films, but like in the context of the whole universe, like it would make Dumbledore look like a coward or like an idiot. Like, and Dumbledore is not a coward or an idiot. I also say that probably my favorite part of this whole trailer was just seeing more Ezra Miller as Credence, his character from the first one. He's back. I thought he was great in the first one, and it was kind of like a twist where he ended up being the monster or whatever that was going around messing stuff up. And then he kind of like died at the end, but he's still alive now. He came back, and I don't know where all that's going, but to me, he's the most interesting character. Way more interesting than Newt or his friend or like any of those guys. So
the next thing we can hit on is Young Justice, Outsiders. That's we had a trailer reaction for that as well.
Season 3.
Again, a huge show for us. Me and Johnny both loved that. Christina loved it as well. We spent a couple years ago, I guess it was now, because it was before they even greenlit season 3.
Yeah, right.
It was way before that.
Yeah.
We kind of binged the first 2 seasons in a span of a couple of weeks. I do like, it was kind of a longer, it was like 5 minutes, I want to say, or 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes.
They spent some time dedicated to the first seasons, and then they showed new footage as well. I don't know how they're going to kind of intertwine the two or how much time has passed. Not only a couple of years probably have passed.
There's definitely a clear time jump because like Artemis and Dick, like they look older, like the main characters. But yeah, I wouldn't imagine it's like too crazy. I was kind of surprised. I mean, I guess it's not totally like surprising, but they didn't really hint at all at Wally coming back.
Yeah.
Like they show Artemis is still kind of like down and out. I mean, her partner got killed, so it disappeared into nothingness. So
she was the first character they showed from the new footage.
Right.
So I'm going to assume that she's a main character, if not the main character, and that they wouldn't bring back and show a picture of Wally with her and the dog. That was like the first thing she showed, in the morning when she woke up.
Right.
He has to be in the Time Force or Lost, or there has to be a way to bring him back.
No, I definitely agree. So also, pretty much, I guess the main conflict of this season that they talked about in the trailer was that metahumans are getting like trafficked. Basically, people are trying to exploit their genes.
Right.
And that's an interesting concept. Each season has kind of had something running through it. Obviously, in season 2 it was the alien invasion, which was really interesting. And in this, it seems there are plenty of new characters. I know we saw Katana was in there. And Orion too, which is really exciting. Darkseid I'm not sure if you'd call him the main villain. I don't know how involved he's going to be in this season. I think Vandal Savage and like Ra's al Ghul and these guys are still going to be pulling most of the strings like on Earth. But I'm very excited to see like Fourth World stuff and like Apocalypse and New Genesis and that kind of thing. But I'm also excited that pretty much every major character from the first 2 seasons is coming back, including we got to see like Batman fighting and Shazam and Deathstroke and all these others. So
there was a big difference between season 1 and 2 with the core characters that they had.
Yes.
Starting off anyways. do you think that's going to be kind of the same thing here, or do you think?
Well, we know. I would say yeah, because we know like Dick was always a main character, and now at the end of season 2 he like retired, and so
Not for long.
is in the beginning of this, is he not going to be wanting to do anything?
That's what I'm saying. Like I wonder.
I think that's probably going to be where they're going. Also, now I'm thinking about it. Did we see Calder in this at all?
Yeah, we did for a split second.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, actually,
Because I know we saw Static Shock.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I don't think we did either. So that's gonna. I don't know where's Calder at. He's like one of my favorites. Him and Dick and like the main crew that started it all with Connor and like Artemis.
They also let off with kind of a twist. Those first
John,
few episodes or first little bit, you were thinking that they were going after Black Manta.
Yes.
Or not Black Manta. Calder. Basically.
Oh yeah.
And then they find out that it's like.
Yes, it's a twist.
It's a twist, and then the season kind of flips.
He's a double agent. Yeah.
Exactly. So I wonder if that's going to be the same thing. You think they're doing one thing, but then it ends up being a flip or something.
That would be interesting. I mean, I definitely think there's just so many characters now and so many different ways they could go with it. I have faith in these people that have been writing this show. Like, they've done such a good job. I think it's definitely in the air as far as what could happen. The animation looks really great. I think it probably looks even better in the first two. And the character designs and everything. It looks like it has that the look of what we had in the first two seasons, which we like loved obviously so much, but it looks fresh. It looks like they're doing like some interesting like things with it. So that's exciting.
Well, that'll kind of wrap up our coverage of Comic-Con 2018. It went by very, very quick, unfortunately. I wish it was like a 3 or 4 day event, but
yeah, it seems it kind of started last Monday because that's when they start releasing things online and whatnot, but as far as the trailers, it's just kind of like bang bang bang. So but it was definitely I am very happy. I am very I look forward to this for not just obviously the whole year basically, but then especially in the last like couple months and then couple weeks, it's like, oh man, it's like coming. I'm like ready to see what they have.
We definitely want to go to a Comic-Con at some point in the future. Like that would be so cool to take the channel there, maybe film a little bit, and maybe dress up. Who knows if we would dress up, but
for sure, no, definitely very cool. And San Diego is obviously like the mecca of comic conventions. So that's, like we said before, it's definitely on my bucket list. Thank you guys for tuning in with us, watching our reactions, and just taking part in this big nerdy celebration, I suppose.
Definitely go check out our reactions if you haven't seen them, and if you haven't liked them or left a comment, go do that as well, because that definitely helps us out with people seeing us. The more likes and comments you get and stuff like that, more people get to see it, which definitely helps us out. We do really, really appreciate that. The next thing you might see from us, maybe it should be the next thing you see from us, will probably be Mission Impossible Fallout related.
Yes,
we are unbelievably excited about that. We both love Tom Cruise and his career and all that sort of thing. So the next thing you should see from us is possibly a review coming on Thursday. So please check out. Johnny might have to be a special appearance. He's going out of state up to Minnesota. We live in North Carolina right now, but we're from Minnesota. He's going back there for a little while, so he won't be here. Probably me and Christina. Maybe I'll get him on the phone real quick and do something for that. But
I guess that's pretty much it. Real hot take for you right before I'll leave you with this.
Oh Lord,
Mission Impossible is a better franchise than the MCU.
Oh,
and there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh God.
Well, I'll leave that to simmer in the comments section. But
and real quick, I know I keep saying real quick. Last thing, we officially hit 500,000 views on our channel.
Wow.
I know in the grand scheme of YouTube land, that's not a lot.
That's like one video for some people.
Exactly. So. That's like a quarter of a video for some people, if not more than that. But we, again, started 2 years ago. And to think of 500,000 views. At one point, I think one of the first videos we posted was a Cloverfield review.
I was just about to ask you, Dan, what was our first video? And it was a 10 Cloverfield Lane movie review.
Was it a trailer reaction or a review? It was a review.
It was a review of the movie had just come out, and we were like, okay, let's start recording.
That was the one, and then also I think another reason why we started was because Batman was coming out.
Yeah, BVS was just about to release it. We were like, let's take advantage of it, Yeah,
let's get out there in front of that. And to think, I mean, we got like 129 views, unless it's more has gone up since then. I check it every once in a while. But like our first video's got like not, just 100, maybe 250 views on some of them, 10 or 12 views.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So to think that we're getting, consistently a few hundred views and sometimes even thousands and thousands of views.
Right. And it's been interesting how I mean, it's been movie reviews and comic book reviews and video game reactions and podcast episodes and that kind of thing. It's like we've really kind of spanned the whole spectrum of stuff we can talk about, and it's been fun. And I wish like we could be doing even more stuff, but I think that's what makes us appreciate you guys even more, is like sticking with us and paying attention to when we drop stuff.
Obviously, we do model ourselves after some of the bigger YouTubers and people like that, but Johnny's a full-time student and works sometimes. I have a full-time job, so we don't.
Right.
I haven't ever made a penny from this channel.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, if we get lucky enough for that to happen, maybe we could put more effort. I wish we could post more videos and do like other things than what we do now.
Right.
But we're slowly getting there.
Yeah, I think it's because I think to us it's more exciting when we try new things and do different iterations of stuff. So that's we're gonna keep putting stuff out for a long time to come.
Oh, definitely. That's one of the reasons why I'm excited about this podcast, because from time to time we can tell stories about our life or go into other things.
Right.
And this is just another avenue for us to talk to you guys and continue to contribute to everything. I'm just excited to have another project to work on, podcasting. Whether we do it once a week or twice a week or however often we get to do it, doesn't really matter. As long as we're doing it, that's what matters. On top of the fact we can still do reviews and reactions and stuff.
Right. And if you guys, now that we're talking about it, if you guys ever have any recommendations for things you'd like to hear us talk about, whether it be movies, comics, video games, whatever, a certain actor, a certain director, that kind of thing, we're totally open to that. And there's just so many different, like I said, so many different ways we could go about it. And that's what's exciting. So definitely stay tuned. We'll have reactions, reviews, podcasts, etc. coming your way. Just make sure you subscribe and check back, and we will keep pumping out content. Thank you guys for listening and for watching and supporting the channel.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a